What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Tuesday? You're going to talk some more Titans and some roster projections and some cut projections that are absolutely different than predictions. If you've been in the YouTube waiting room, you've seen people going back and forth and not knowing or knowing the difference between the two roster projections versus predictions. These are projections, not predictions, because we are early in the Titans' summer off-season program.
Just a little bit.
The vets and the rookies are on the field together, in the building together for the first time this week. And we'll go through some of these projections that we're going to make about interesting roster battles, surprising cut candidates, and everybody's favorite UDFA, Xavier Restrepo, and what his path to make the roster could look like. Because that's what people have been wanting to talk about the last, 5-6 days. So, Easton, it's your shot to react to the Xavier Restrepo frenzy from Saturday's rookie minicamp, and then we'll go through all of these different conversations. There's a ton of different conversations to have about this roster and where the Titans are at, and we'll throw shade at the end of the show. So, get your shades ready if you want. Let's get this thing off and rolling. Easton, welcome in on a Tuesday.
Yeah, good morning. Second straight week that I've got a pretty strong shade coming into the show. So either I'm getting better or I'm just getting angrier. Not sure which.
You're getting older.
You know what? That's probably what it is. That encapsulates both. And I've already been fired this morning before I even opened my mouth, which means we're off to a great start this morning. Good morning to everyone in the chat, except for that guy. I hope you guys are all having a great start to your Tuesday. Help us out this morning before we get into a great show by liking the show on Facebook, on YouTube. Hit that like button. That thumbs up button is the easiest way that you can be a friend of the show this morning. Help us out. We need to get those like numbers up here on a Tuesday because we got a great show for you. And the price of admission to jump in the chat, we want to hear your thoughts in there. But you got to like the show if you're going to join Edward, Stefan, Vanessa, Nick, DeChristofel, Steven, Daniel, Ocho, Lou Man, who is booing me out of the gate. Good morning to you, Lou Man. Good to see all of your familiar faces there in the chat. Join them over in the chat and let us know your thoughts on the Titans roster projections this morning.
We've also got some news.
What has happened?
No, you'll find out.
I'm not going to look. Would I see it on my phone if I look?
I don't know. That's up to you. Welcome to the A to Z Sports here live on a Tuesday. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Easton Freeze, one of our Titans reporters for A to Z Sports.com. We're Nashville's on-demand sports network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. And the Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They're online at bartondrury.com, also local, bartondrury.com. Easton, the breaking news, the Titans are not going overseas this year.
I had seen that. This is something that
I know it was phrased like that.
Yeah, it is something that I suspected. I think I tweeted about it 2 days ago. But yeah, they are not going overseas, which we thought that they might, given the timeline of the stadium opening in 2027, the fact that the NFL wants everybody going over there every 2, 3, 4 years. Titans last went 2 years ago. So not necessarily time for them to need to go yet, but we all kind of reasoned that maybe they would want to get it out of the way this year. They might, because you can go sign up for it with the league. Hey, send us over there this year.
Yeah,
and they'll oblige you on that. Yeah, exactly. Like the Vikings did, volunteering to go over there twice. I'm seeing people saying, "Oh, what a brutal draw for the Vikings to have back-to-back weeks overseas." They don't send you twice unless you sign up for it, folks. So don't ask me why they signed up for it, but they signed up for that. The Jaguars have done that as well. And you're not going over there twice either. You just stay over there. But so
I wonder,
it's kind of an advantage on the second game, to be fair.
That's what I was thinking. I wonder if it's like, if you're gonna go twice back to back and then have a bye week after.
Right. Well, and also with them, like I believe both of their games are AFC North games that are both road games, so they
Yeah.
don't have to play a true NFC North or AFC North road game. They just get them both on neutral sites. So like there's some advantages in there.
You know what? I can be sold on that.
Right?
You know,
Yeah.
if you're gonna say, you know what, the NFL is going to send you every so often, just say, you know what, hey, we'll go
Hey,
twice back to back.
I'm sure somewhere Tyler Fornes is writing these thoughts. And Tyler, if you're not, there you go. Take those. There's a spin here for the Vikings. This is a win for the Vikings.
The international loophole.
That's right.
The
somebody
Minnesota
get Tyler on the
international
horn.
loophole.
That's right. Get Tyler on the horn.
We will text him. Taylor Fornes, our Vikings writer, for people.
He's great. I'm sure he's already all over it. He's probably already over it.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought that they might want to get out of the way. And they also, the other reasoning was that they had, I think, 3 opponents on their schedule that were, because they announced who was hosting the international games weeks in advance. So we knew that there were some chances for them to play with those teams, and just didn't line up. So
the Colts, the Jags, and the Browns all home teams overseas, and the Titans are not playing any game overseas, just for the sake of just being complete. The full NFL international series of games, as I wait for a tweet to load. There we go. Chiefs versus Chargers in Brazil, week 1. Week 4, Vikings, Steelers in Dublin. Week 5, Vikings versus Browns in London. So the Vikings at least have to go from Dublin to London, which is like a train ride. So
it's a plane ride, but it's about 13 minutes.
I'm sure you can make it a train ride. You can probably practice at the same spot.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to take a train over an ocean, but
they can do it.
There, I mean, those 2 places.
Have you not seen Harry Potter? I mean,
those 2 places aren't connected, but neither here nor there.
Okay. Anyway, boat, whatever. A boat is just a water train.
Me, the expert who's been one time.
Yeah. Week 6, Broncos versus Jets in London. Week 7, Rams versus Jags in London. Week 10, Falcons versus Colts in Berlin. And Week 11, Commanders versus Dolphins in Madrid, which I think is pretty sexy. You know, Commanders, Dolphins in Spain.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, that'll be. I like the vibe of that. I mean, easily the best game there is the first one, right? Chiefs Chargers week 1.
And
that's
the
easily the best matchup. Yeah, I mean what is that week? What?
11.
Yeah, I mean the Dolphins could be bad by week 11, man. Maybe I'm just down on the Dolphins. We'll see. I hope not. That's the potential.
Yes. So the Titans will not be overseas this year. Will they be next year before the stadium opens? Maybe.
I feel like they will. Way too early 2026 season prediction. The Titans will be overseas. I'm going to write that article today, see how it goes.
People are thinking our roster projections today are too early. And somebody's like, you haven't even seen anything yet. How are you projecting rosters? Yeah, because we can have conversations about depth charts and situations and all that.
If you roll your eyes at 2026 mock drafts right after the draft, wait until you see my 2026 schedule predictions before the 2025 schedule prediction comes out.
We already have multiple 2026 mock drafts published that are like 3-round mock drafts for
unbelievable.
So, all right, but Easton, Xavier Restrepo, he's been the man of the last few days around Titans conversations, the undrafted free agent receiver out of Miami, Cam Ward's teammate at Miami, back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver at Miami, All-American, undrafted guy because he ran slow. He signs with the Titans and is a big talking point of rookie minicamp. We're going to talk about how he can make the roster, his path to make the roster here in a second, but just, Easton, your overall thoughts on the Xavier Restrepo frenzy that we need to probably come up with an official nickname of, the summer of Strep.
I was about to say, it's the Restrepo summer. It is. I hope you like talking about Xavier Restrepo because, brother, we're going to be talking about Xavier Restrepo this summer. And I have had friends, a good unofficial litmus test for me for like what is trending and what is not is the obscurity of people that reach out to me about a topic. Yeah. And so I have some regulars that will DM me like questions, and I've obviously got my friends who like bring stuff up. But then like a bigger topic, the bigger the topic, the more likely I am to get I'll get a text from my wife's boss about the Titans. I'll get a text about who I love talking to. Great guy. I'll get a text from my childhood best friend's dad. I'll get a text from people from church. Who I like, I have this person's number, and the obscurity of the person texting me about it is a good litmus test for how big a deal it is in the casual public's eye. And I have not had more obscure texts about a topic than I have Xavier Restrepo in the past 48 hours. I can't remember the last time I had one of those this obscure. So that's kind of my measuring stick for it. I'm not surprised for a number of reasons, and wrote about it in an article at A to Z Sports that I published last night, which you should go read. There are a number of contributing factors. Because like Xavier didn't ask for this. He didn't ask to become the most not overhyped, but like the most hyped, the most big boy expectations UDFA in Titans history.
Yep.
The Titans certainly aren't asking for this. I'm sure they don't like this. I mean, no team likes when UDFAs get undue expectations put
this
on
them. This is kind of like why Shedeur Sanders fell in the 5th round.
Yes. Yeah. It's a circus a little bit. Yeah. And if you've been paying any attention to the media coming out of Cleveland, I mean, they are leaning in over there in Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders, they think he is bringing football back to Cleveland, which he might. But the thing is, I totally got sidetracked. The thing about Restrepo that I think uniquely situates him to be this level of hype this early on is there's a couple of reasons. First of all, the fact that he was higher on most draft boards than, obviously, I mean, he was a 3rd, 4th round pick on a lot of analysts' boards, and then it went undrafted. So, wow, what a potential steal the Titans could have gotten here. Number 2, the fact that you're reuniting him with Cam Ward. And let's be honest, who amongst us doesn't love a college teammates reunited storyline? I mean, it is bread and butter, right? Like you can't help but love when a really electric duo, especially, skill player duo from college gets to reunite in the NFL, and you're kind of rooting for that to like, they'll just pick up right where they left off and think about the built-in chemistry. And then third, it's the fact that not to be apologies to the slot receiver community this morning, but slot receivers are there's a lot of sizzle for slot receivers, a lot of flash, sometimes a lot of flash, no bang. Now, I'm not saying Xavier Restrepo is a classic case of slot receiver who looks awesome in practice, but it doesn't translate to Sundays, because he is a guy. I mean, to be fair, the guys that are the best on Sundays also tend to be looking like the best on practice field. So it's not to say that if you're awesome in practice, you're not going to be good in the game. And also, Xavier Restrepo is a back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver in college. Like, he's proven that guy can play ball. But we have seen many, many times, if you've covered the NFL for any amount of time, you know that this is the time of year that slot receivers in particular are kind of built for, right? Like the receiver drills on air, the unpadded practices, the things that those drills are trying to elicit and drill in a player, the foot quickness, the agility, the short area burst, the sharpness, these are all the things that slot receivers major in. Like, that's their whole
football
thing.
Superstars.
Yeah, it's their whole thing. So of course they're going to look awesome. Of course Kyle Phillips looked like a monster every time he took to the practice field, and he convinced people, including myself, that he was awesome. No, I know the injuries. I know it's injuries. I know. I'm with you. I think he would have been good if he was never hurt, but he
was hurt because he was 175 pounds.
Yes. And he looked awesome in practice, in part because he was 175 pounds. So all of that to say, I'm not surprised that a guy like Xavier Restrepo, who is a slot specialist, right, and that we're going to get to in a minute, his path to the roster, the biggest limitation is his limitation, right? The fact that he is a slot specialist, the fact that he doesn't appear to offer, we'll see about his returner ability, but does not appear to offer anything on special teams, and does not have positional versatility outside of the slot, because of the fact that he's not big or fast or strong enough to do so. That's going to be what is limiting to him. But this time of year, wide receiver drills, no pads, buddy, rock star. He's going to look like a rock star.
Yeah, absolutely. And a comment I wanted to get to, because I think it's just off. It's just wrong, because Coach Will says Kinsey versus Restrepo or Spider-Man meme. No, that's not how the Spider-Man meme works. They're not the same at all.
Well, it could be. No, you don't know.
No, but they're not.
Okay, how, Austin? How?
Because Mason Kinsey went to Division III Berry College.
Sure.
Mason Kinsey was an All-American at the U, Miami, with more catches, more production in his college career than guys, multiple guys, plural, gold jackets.
Sure. I hear you. They also
And
both went
those
undrafted.
are, yes, but they're not the same. Like, that's not how the Spider-Man meme works at all.
Their pasts are not the same, but at this point,
they're not the same. They're not the same.
I mean, Austin, we're about to talk about how there's a very real possibility that Xavier Restrepo ends up on a practice squad, which is the Mason Kinsey spot.
No, that means you're a practice squad receiver. That doesn't mean you're the same as Mason Kinsey. Like D3
what is Mason
guy.
Kinsey?
He's a D3 guy who's
but what is
out
he
pension.
now? He's been in the NFL for years. What is he now?
He is a success story.
Squad guy. Yes, he is.
Right? Because he's a D3 player who has some level of pension in the NFL because he's worked his ass off and has scratched and clawed and not died a million times.
Yeah.
And able to do this. Xavier Restrepo is an All-American in college who ran slow and is undrafted.
Yep. And in 3 months, there's a pretty decent chance that Xavier Restrepo just takes his seat.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the Spider-Man meme. That's not the whole point of the Spider-Man meme.
Okay, you're fighting the meme in particular. That's fine.
Yes,
That's
because
fine.
The comment is wrong. Okay.
I forgot that the point of the comment is yeah. They are not the same coming out of college.
Correct.
But I'm just saying, like, if that person's point was, which I think it's a fair one, there's a chance that he's just the new Kinsey. I think there is a chance he's just the new Kinsey. We'll see.
Okay.
Do you not think there's a chance? Let's get into that.
Xavier Restrepo has a better chance to make the roster than Mason Kinsey ever has.
I agree.
So no, they're not the same. Like the result could be
that's
the
not the
same
question
because they're undrafted, right?
Yes.
But like this is the same franchise that rostered undrafted NWI as a rookie free agent who could not catch. NWI could not catch in his rookie summer. Couldn't catch.
No, I know. And I mean, I've been on record on this show saying I think there's a 50% chance, slightly better than 50% chance that Xavier Restrepo makes the roster. But that means I also think there's a 49% chance he's your new Mason Kinsey.
Yeah, but they're not the same. They're not the same player.
They do not have the same pedigree. I agree.
Yes.
Of course they don't have the same pedigree. But once you get in the NFL, like, you hear these guys talk, coaches talk. No one cares about what you did before you got drafted. Your past resets, your pedigree resets, or in the coach's eyes, it's supposed to.
All right, so let's talk about this. What is the path for Xavier Restrepo to make the roster? Because there's a path out there. Absolutely, there's a path out there. What is the path for Xavier Restrepo to make this roster? I want to know what you guys think, how you guys feel about it. We'll show the receiver depth chart or just the receiver just group in general. There's a lot of guys on this roster. What is the path for Xavier Restrepo to make this roster? But first, the Bone and Joint Institute is where you should turn if you have an injury in life that needs to be taken care of. The Bone and Joint Institute in Franklin is that spot. They're located right next to Williamson Medical Center off the I-65 and Highway 86 intersection right there. You can see it from the interstate. It's a great facility. They've got great surgeons, doctors, support staff, physical therapists, and also physical therapy equipment, and everything is right there under one roof. So if you have an injury, because life happens just like football, injuries happen, that you know where to go. Your son or daughter has an injury playing youth sports. They've got a great way to set them up to make sure that injury gets healed and corrected the right way. Online, when you need, book boneandjointtn.org.
There's so much more to say, but first, make sure you have liked the show for us this morning. Be a friend of the show. Go to Google, search A to Z Sports, and leave a 5-star Google review. The Lou Man 5-star special. Need more 5-star reviews from you folks. If you haven't left one yet, today's the day. Go leave one over on Google, A to Z Sports.
We are officially over 100 5-star Google
wow.
Reviews,
did we have like when Lou left his infamous 0-star? That was like the third review ever, like, wasn't it?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
We had very few.
Yeah.
Which is what made it so brutal, is that it was like 30% of the reviewing audience.
Yeah, because that's reviewing the company as a whole, not just our Titans coverage, right? So it's a little bit different. So, all right, Easton, I will send you to the chat. What is the path for Xavier Restrepo to make the team? The chat's answers are, I'll let you get to it, but here are the names in the receiver room, you're missing one because he got added yesterday afternoon. TJ Sheffield, the tryout player. Yeah, sorry, TJ. He's the unlucky 13th on May 13th. That's not on the graphic right here. So Calvin Ridley, Lockett, Io Manor, Chimere Dike, Bryce Oliver, Van Jefferson, James Prochet, Xavier Restrepo, Traylon Burks, Mason Kinsey, Jaquan Jackson, Colton Dowell. But from the chat, what are you seeing as the path for Restrepo to make the team?
Yeah, well, I was scrolling the chat during the ad read, kind of reading through some thoughts on Restrepo before we asked the question. And boy, some folks need to lower their expectations, man. I've seen a lot of no way Xavier Restrepo doesn't make this roster. Yes way, man. Yes way. There's a big fat chance he doesn't make the roster. And we're about to get into why there is a path, but it is not a clear one for him. As to how he makes the roster, some answers from the chat here. Let's see. Scrolling. Coach Will says, start by beating up Mason Kinsey. That's step one. There you go. Rooney says, become a returner. Burning Devil, carve out a role in special teams. Top Troop says, just become the starter at slot. No, that's certainly the easiest way, is just be the best slot option, I suppose. Jeff Rubel says, just be decent. Of course, Big Ten Jeff thinks you just the bar's so low, the room's so bad. Just be decent at receiver. Tall Texan says Ward is the path. I want to touch on that more. Put a pin in that. The idea that Ward is the path. Let's revisit that in a minute, Austin. Matt Stotler says Van Jefferson injury. Cole, he will be on the roster 100%. Okay. I mean, I think saying any UDFA in the history of UDFAs will 100% make a roster in May is a foolish thing to say, just in general. To be honest,
unless it's a kicker or a punter.
Good point. If they're the only person, if they're running unopposed for their office, then sure.
Yeah.
Have a strong preseason and cut Van Jefferson. Louis says learn to punt. Don't return the punts. Learn to punt.
I mean, sure.
So
make yourself more valuable.
That's right.
Think about if Xavier Restrepo can learn how to punt, you're just saving. He's automatically active on game day.
Yeah,
you're saving yourself a roster spot. Now, if he gets hurt,
I was about to say you can't run him out there because if you lose your punter, you're screwed. You need a backup punter then. So the consensus in the chat is largely either become the best slot receiver or carve out a role on special teams, which is, I mean, those are good starting points for a conversation here.
Okay. So there was somebody that said, TP says he's better than DK and Io Manor already.
All right.
Easton.
Yeah.
Yes.
He looked better against Air in May. Sure.
No, college football says he's better.
Okay, well, better.
He was a better college receiver than those two draft picks.
We're playing in the NFL now, Austin.
I know, and again, I was at practice. You couldn't be at practice on Saturday, which is totally cool, right? And Teron Davenport standing next to him, guy knows receivers. Yeah, TP is correct.
I think TP is using the wrong word.
He is currently better than DK and Io Manor.
Yeah, so currently is the right word. Already is not.
Well, already, but
TP is insinuating that Restrepo has somehow passed these guys. Your point is that he didn't pass them.
No, your point is that he starts higher.
He's been ahead of them.
Yes,
but he is so much closer to his ceiling physically than those guys are. Correct. And the point behind those two being 4th round picks and him going undrafted is that those guys have NFL ceilings that Xavier Restrepo on paper just does not have.
But man, I said this yesterday with Zach. I think you were listening. I am pumping the brakes significantly on DK and Io Manor.
Yeah, I think that's really hasty of you. But
no,
no, I do think so. I do think so.
Easton, I have seen rookie receivers in camp come in a lot of different flavors. And I've seen what the dudes look like, and I've seen what the duds look like. And I'm not saying that Io Manor and DK are duds, but they're not dudes right now. Like they are not. They are not. And so like Tajay
First of all, I
Sharp.
hate that you're lumping them because you know who you're talking to. Like I'm not gonna vouch for one of them. I'm going to vouch for another one of them.
You're going all in on Alec Iomana. That is your guy.
If you want to talk about how DK doesn't look like he's got it, go for it, brother. I'm with you. It's also one practice in rookie minicamp. Let's at least see him with the vets. Can we at least see him with the rest of the team?
Sure, but you can still like look at how their bodies move.
Sure.
That's important.
I mean, it's just, again, everything I'm saying is so speculative. So you and everybody else on the Titans beat, like you publish all the videos from rookie minicamp, right? And you're texting them to me, and I'm looking on Twitter. And so before I hear anything opinionated from you, I'm kind of just going based on the videos. And again, it's based on the videos. I know as well as you do, it's a big difference between what you see on Twitter and what you see just being there and like feeling it.
Yeah.
But from the videos, I was surprised by what you had to say and I'd be curious if you go back and watch some of these videos now to see if you kind of see what I'm talking about. Iomana looks really good on video. He looks like a big body who has some impressive explosiveness and short area quickness for somebody in that frame. And
Iomana looked better than DK.
Okay, well, that's okay. I just so and again, I am fully acknowledging that my interpretation of how they looked is based on video, and I know that can be deceptive. So I am really withholding any judgment until I can be there next week to watch them with the veterans. I am taking your brake pumping into consideration as I enter my first live viewing session.
Because I was excited about Iron Man, right? And I'm just like, he's not as juicy as I wanted him to be.
Okay.
There's not a lot of pop. It was just kind of, it did not feel explosive.
Okay. Well,
and like for DK, I think there's a reason why he made his college career off of crossing routes.
Yeah. Captain Crosser.
Because I don't think he can change direction very well.
That part you see on tape. That's not surprising one bit.
Yeah. And I was just like, oof, I don't know. But like Iomana just wasn't very twitchy at all. Like there was just zero twitch from
I am taking this initial evaluation under advisement and will report back next week.
So the path for Xavier Restrepo.
Yep. Which Derek says in the comments, I'll do backflips to not give Restrepo any credit. You guys are kind of boxing me into the pump the brakes on Xavier Restrepo guy this morning. I didn't come into the show wanting to be that guy, but the outrageous expectations demand it. I'm sorry. I wrote it last night, a big long article, and I'm going to write again today about Xavier Restrepo and why and by the way, interview with Nate Tice coming later today to tease that. Him and I talk about how we think he's just kind of one of those magical guys that doesn't make sense on paper, but he's going to work out because it's just good things happen when you play with Xavier.
He's a good football player, right?
That's my thing. Like I am a Xavier Restrepo guy, and I said I got made fun of by other people in the media corps 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, when I said on this show that I think he has a better than 50% chance to make the roster. So I'm not anti-Xavier Restrepo guy. What I am is anti-Xavier Restrepo on May 13th is definitely making this roster as UDFA because that's crazy talent.
I don't say that. I do think he's got a really good shot. Like I think he's got a really good shot. And that's a lot.
What's the most likely path to him making the roster in your eyes, Austin?
All right, so I think the most likely path. So I'll put the receivers up again. So there's 12 plus TJ Sheffield, who made the team, signed to the team, as a tryout guy over the weekend. Rookie out of UConn via Purdue via Independence High School. Shout out Thompson Station. So there's a lot of
Independence guy.
That's right. Independence guy was a Mr. Football and Tennessee runner-up back in like 2019, maybe 28. Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
So how does Xavier Restrepo make the roster? I think they have to keep 7. I'm going to go ahead and eliminate Jaquan Jackson.
Sorry,
I think he is probably the easiest decision.
Colton Dowell is not your easiest decision?
Jaquan Jackson is the easiest decision because we've seen him too recently.
That's fair.
Traylon Burks is going to be on PUP. So Traylon Burks is eliminated from the conversation currently because he's not going to make the team.
Yep.
Right? Because he's going to be unavailable.
Yep.
Colton Dowell is the next one.
How funny would it be if Colton Dowell comes out and is just awesome?
Yeah, he has not played a lot of football,
No, I
and
know.
I just
I'm
don't
just
see it
saying.
happening.
Me neither. I'm just saying. We
I
don't know. So
I think and you did this, Easton, and Mason Kinsey's not going to make the team. Like
no.
it's just not going to happen. I think the biggest conversation is Xavier Restrepo versus James Prochet.
Yep.
And I think there are other players on this screen that will have Xavier Restrepo win this job. I think
Expand.
if Bryce Oliver is a better gunner or just as good of a gunner as James Prochet, then James Prochet is not needed.
Mm-hmm.
If Chimere Dike is a even or slightly better punt returner, or if somebody else is a better punt returner than James Prochet, then I think James Prochet is redundant.
This is sharp, Austin. You stole my flow. This is where I was going. You're all over it, I think. You're all over
My
it.
path for Xavier Restrepo to make the roster is to be the 7th receiver. James Prochet does not make it because other guys not named Xavier Restrepo are better on special teams.
Yeah, I mean, we are in lockstep on this. I think in DK and Oliver were the ones that I were going to point to because Prochet, I'm with you, is 100% he's the question mark on this list. And we've talked about it on the show. I'll say it again. The respect I'm giving Prochet in my mind in the depth chart here is not respect that I personally hold. Like it's respect that I think we have from your point, projection versus prediction. From a projection standpoint, I feel obligated to give him that respect on the depth chart because of the timeline of when he was added and the modus operandi of Titans' new special teams coordinator, John Fossil. Bones came in and added. They cut a couple guys, or not cut, but failed to retain a couple guys. Oh, no Stoney back. Oh, no Nick Folk back. What's the plan here? Then they bring in new kicker, new punter, add a special teams ace in Prochet. Brought in his guys, right? And moved on from some guys that were like Stoney, serviceable player. Folk, more than serviceable player, right? Didn't matter. And they didn't replace him with guys that were like, oh, well, duh, of course you do that because these guys are way better. Not really.
I mean, Johnny Hecker and Sly are good.
No, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying it's not like they went out and got absolute studs. Like, well, you had to replace Nick Folk with that guy.
Stud punter and kicker are available in March?
Yeah, that's a good point. But you hear what I'm saying is that it's
but they got proven commodities at those positions.
I agree, but Nick Folk was that. Is my point. It's like
but
he's
also 41 years old. So
how dare you? First of all, second of all, fair. Yes, but my point is. Those moves, I get that some of it felt okay. Maybe you're making a half tier jump in terms of value here, but did it not feel like he was kind of adding his guys? Like I want my guys.
Yeah, I mean, but they also signed Van Jefferson in the same cycle, right? And
yes, but I'm talking about special teamers.
I know, but is Van Jefferson a lock for this team?
Well, put a pin in that. Let's talk about that in a second.
Okay,
probably. But if you'll see on my list there in the clip from the article, I put in bold the guys that were locks, and Van Jefferson was not bolded. So
correct,
not lock, but closest to a lock. That's not a lock in my opinion. With Prochet, I have this gut feeling that I would love to be proven wrong on. That he's just like they just have him for a reason, and that he's Bones' guy, and it's gonna take a guy like DK. Or Restrepo himself, who was returning punts at wasn't he returning punts at rookie minicamp? I think I have that written down.
Yes, he was.
And you got Oliver being the gunner that we saw last year turn out really well and improve in that way. But I wouldn't put it past this team to be kind of paranoid when it comes to the special teams guys this year. That's another element of this, right? Like they went all in last year on non-special teams guys with minimal special teams experience. And we saw how that bit them early. And I wouldn't be surprised. Again, we talk about the pendulum swing in the NFL, overdoing it to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes of the past. Would you be shocked if you're like, wow, they kept a lot of guys with a lot of special teams experience? I wouldn't be.
No, but I do think Bryce Oliver is somebody I think they trust now
I agree.
to do that, where
Mhm.
a year ago they didn't because he had never done it.
It's really the returner spot, though. Like, Prochet, to me, is a returner first, or a return option first. And so somebody needs to emerge. And they've got dudes that can. So somebody needs to emerge as your kick and punt returner and render Prochet's services valuable but not necessary.
Yeah. I view the return game in the NFL at this point as opportunity for disaster more than I do opportunity for success. Like
So
I think
it's a floor position for you.
I think more teams screw up in those situations and it's not worth it. Like take the touchback on kickoffs. Don't even try. Like kick the ball through the end zone. Who cares? Like just like
Well,
that.
they
That's
did
how
change the
that.
rule to make less touchbacks.
No,
So
I
you're not
know,
gonna
I
be
know,
able to
and I
throw the
haven't
ball.
updated my mind for that yet. So
Me neither.
like who like don't allow yourself to have a stupid holding penalty on a return play. Just fair catch it or let it be a touchback and move on with your day. Like
Okay.
it's don't kill yourself. Like that's how I view the return game in today's NFL. Maybe coverage is different, but I think so. You just need somebody you can trust to catch a damn football, and that's the easiest thing you can say. And they haven't been able to do that for like 5 years.
No, it's been a long time.
It's crazy. They can't get somebody to catch a punt.
Right, but Prochet can do that. So who else can? Somebody else needs to prove this summer that they can.
Yeah, and that's where I think DK Restrepo himself. I think that's his best option.
It's easily the best path. It's because he is not a versatile player. He does not offer a variety of services. If he could make that list go from 1 to 2 with punt returner, that is his ticket. That is his ticket.
As a punt returner, like I've talked to Mark Mariani about this. Your job is to get one first down.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Don't try to bust a big one. Just one, it's catch the ball. 2, get a first down. If you can get a free first down for your offense, then you are crushing it. Like, don't try to bust it for 30 yards or a touchdown. That might happen, but catch the ball, try to get a first down. And Restrepo can probably do that.
He can, but one final note on this, Austin, is that, again, from a projection standpoint, when I'm trying to get in the heads of this team, I think that they view the return game the opposite of you. Like, and you are well within your rights to think they're foolish for that. I hear you. But I think that because listen, last year, I would say publicly and privately when they were dealing with guys that just couldn't catch the freaking ball on punt return and be safe with it. And like I was feeling the same way that you were, just get somebody that can catch it, right? I continued to say, why just let Mason do it? Let Mason do it. You're at a point where you can roster Mason Kinsey. It won't be a big deal. We know he can do it. We know he can catch the ball. Is he athletic enough to be a big impact after catching it? No. But who cares, right? That's the point. Who cares? And they eventually got there. But they were resistant to that. They kept trying to other dudes that were risky, way riskier than Mason Kinsey for a long time. Yeah. So, and in this way, Xavier Restrepo and Mason Kinsey, they are similar in this way, in that I think that they could be counted on to catch the ball on a punt. And then just athletically, they are an athletic minus in the return game. Like they're not going to.
But it's not about being. You don't have to be a speed guy. You have to be decisive.
Sure.
Like I mean, that is. I think
sure
the biggest
to be a speed guy, but
the biggest skill in punt returning, I think, is decisiveness.
I hear you on that one. But I think that they view it as we want an athletic guy back there that can give us a little juice. I think they think that.
Yeah, but like that person if you have an athletic guy who's not decisive, then you got the first decision you have to be decisive on is: are you going to field the punt or let it bounce?
Right.
Then when you say you're going to field it, are you going to fair catch it or not? And then you got to be able to be decisive on what's your first step and then what direction you're going.
Well, not even be decisive, but be intelligently decisive, because
Yes.
Kyle Phillips was decisive in London right before the half. It was the wrong decision, and
True.
the coaching staff should have made that clear to him. But like, you can't be a bonehead either.
100%.
And I don't think Xavier Restrepo is a bonehead. I think he's a
good football player.
Yeah. He's a guy that I really want. I mean, I really hope they give him some live reps in the preseason at returner because I want to see it. You know what I mean? Like, give us a proof of concept on that. A yay or a nay. Maybe it's just like, well, okay, can't do it. Fine. But let us see it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about other things besides just Restrepo, because I think that is the path to Restrepo making the roster is Bryce Oliver emerges and somebody else not named James Prochet emerges as the punt return option. So let's ask this question. What Titans veteran is most at risk to get cut? What Titans veteran is most at risk to get cut? We'll get to those options in a bit. Curious to see where the chat takes this because I'm not sure there's an automatic answer, which is
I don't think there is.
Which is a fun conversation. But real quick, let me tell you guys about Lipscomb University's sports analytics program. They can help you turn your passion into a career. A lot of people ask, us, how do you get into sports media? How do you make this a career? How do you sustain this as a career? Well, there's no correct path. There is a million different directions that you can get to being a sports media member, personality, journalist, whatever you want to say. And Lipscomb University has a sports analytics program that can be one of those options for your path. You can analyze, strategize, and revolutionize, go beyond the box score and learn the game-changing insights and career-defining skills at Lipscomb University. And you don't have to be local to Nashville or the mid-state area. It is an online degree program, which means you can take advantage of Lipscomb University's sports analytic program wherever you are. So that can be a big deal. And the Titans have a lot of opportunity for us to learn about what this analytics program is going to be. And with working in the Nashville area, Lipscomb's got the resources right there too to educate you guys. And it is one of the first of these sports analytics programs in the country. So go to Lipscomb University and check out their sports analytics program to get in the game and start your career or your path to the career that you want from your passion at Lipscomb University Sports Analytics.
Yeah, whenever folks ask me the easiest way to break into sports media, I always tell them just step one, become a professional athlete, make it in the NFL, and then they tend to give you a job. That's probably the easiest way to do it.
Yep.
So much more to say. Just make sure you'll give us a 5-star Google review over there on Google. Search A to Z Sports. Leave a 5-star review for us. Say whatever you'd like. We consider your feedback to be a gift. So if you have some things you'd like to see changed around here, we will take that under advisement as long as it comes in the form of a 5-star Google review. We appreciate you guys very much for leaving us those.
Eric asked, if I do that being Lipscomb Sports Analytics program, can I work for A to Z Sports? It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt.
It does bolster the resume.
It would not hurt.
It bolsters Sam's resume. A Lipscomb sports degree. Not the same one, but point taken.
Yes. So, all right. Veterans most likely to get cut. What do you see from the chat? Because as we kind of preface, there is no automatic answer. There's a lot of ways you can go. And also, like, you can have the nuance, like defined veteran. I don't know.
Right.
But right.
Well, there are some cheap answers in here because like the most common one I'm seeing is Burks. And lame answer. Get your Burks answers out of here.
He's not going to get cut. He's just not going to be on the team.
He's also not a guy like we're talking about guys that have reasonable expectations to make the team. Nobody that knows anything about this, I'm sorry. If you think Treylon Burks is making this team right now, you don't know what you're talking about. Like he's not going to be on the active roster on the 53. It's not happening.
Also, if you think Treylon Burks is going to get cut, then you don't know what you're talking about.
It's also true. Because he's going to be on the pup. Some other guys, Levis. They're not cutting Levis. They're not. He's too valuable. They're not cutting him. You and I disagree on this. We talked about this. There is a world. Just like there's a path for Restrepo to make the team. There is a path for Will Levis to get cut. Yeah, if Will Levis commits a violent crime, otherwise it's not happening. In my
opinion, have to
be
violent.
Okay, a felonious crime.
Yeah.
Colin says Bryce Oliver. I don't know if that. I mean, okay, he's a veteran technically.
No, not a veteran.
Listen. Colin's playing to his audience, being me. I would be
Yeah.
surprised if Bryce Oliver doesn't make the team. So fair enough, Colin. What's the best? So Van Jefferson is the most like fair common answer that I'm seeing so far, and we can definitely touch on that because he is a guy that they signed earlier in the free agency process.
Right.
He is a veteran in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think he would be a surprise if he got cut. So let's touch on that one in a second.
Okay.
Jalen Duncan. I don't think any of these linemen that aren't starters, if you are not a starter or your name is Jackson Slater, there's not a single lineman on this roster, and we're going to show him here in a second, that is going to be a shock to not make the team, right? Like they're all in cut territory to me. So we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
More Jalen Duncans, a lot of Burks, a lot of Van Jeffersons. I'm trying to see if there's anybody really out of nowhere. Nick says Corey Levin. He hopes Corey Levin's off the team. Rest in peace.
I've seen a couple Sneeds.
Oh, okay. We can talk about that. Josh Wiley. Here's a fun one. We can talk about Josh Wiley from Chase. I like where your head's at.
So Sneed because of the off the field situation.
Right.
But in Belvis says Sneed if he's suspended for the incident. Like he's just the way this plays out though, he's not going to be suspended in time for them to make roster cuts because the legal process crawls.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to not like I don't know if they're going to have this thing finalized by a year from now. You know? It'll be a while.
I mean, remember Rashad Weaver's legal incident coming out pre-draft, and then it didn't get resolved until
it came out like
the end of his second season.
Yeah, he got drafted in like the 4th round, like the Monday after. Like Rashad Weaver's got an incident with a domestic.
Right.
What was it? Domestic violence.
Yeah, something in Pittsburgh
outside of a bar in Pittsburgh or something like that.
But then it was almost 2 years after that they finally. So, but sorry for being cynical. Also, Snead is a guy that it's going to take. There's a really high bar. There's a really high bar for them to pull that trigger based on off-field stuff because they have so much invested in him and because he is so good a player. So, yeah,
it would have to be an opportunity where all of his guaranteed money is now forfeited because of something.
Yeah, I mean the grand jury would have to come back and say this guy, L'Jarius Sneed, tried to murder a dude, shot at him with the intent to kill him, and then there's like felony violent jail time on the table.
Which then doesn't. I don't think we're anywhere close to knowing that.
We're also not anywhere close to that even being a thing because I'll remind folks, this is a civil trial. Yeah, this is not a criminal trial. There's a reason for that.
Yes. So you want to go to the Wiley conversation?
Yeah, let's touch on the tight ends. Throw the tight end board up there.
Real quick. Daniel Caribbean.
Yeah.
Or Caribbean.
Great name, by the way. You think that's real? Think it's his real name? No way.
Virgil Lemon's already cut.
Yeah. This list is 36 hours.
Pre 3 p.m. yesterday.
Yeah. So apologies to our king, Virgil Lemons, a great name that I was hoping would make the team.
Yeah. But when life gives you lemons,
life takes away lemons.
Quarterbacks. I mean, there's 4. Somebody going to be here, right?
Maybe some buddies. I mean,
maybe 2.
I would bank on 2 when it comes down to it, but
I do think the tight ends is interesting because you know what's missing from the tight end group that has been there the last several years? The Nick Vannett. There is no Nick Vannett. There is no version of Vic.
No direct play style comp. Yeah, I mean
or there's no
blocker, red zone only target.
8-year guy that is gonna block.
Right.
You know?
You're right.
So Josh Wiley.
They'd like for him to be that guy. I just don't. I don't think his blocking is ever going to get to that level unless he takes a big jump.
Yeah. No Jeff Swaim, right?
No.
Nick Vannett, Jeff Swaim. Now that's a Spider-Man meme.
That's not fair to Nick Vannett. Nick Vannett's 3 times the receiving threat that Jeff Swaim ever was.
Which is like 3 catches to 1.
Listen, Jeff Swaim looks like he's running through molasses when he moves. Not a mover. Vannett can move. I think your Spider-Man needs refinement as well. I don't think
Hey,
we've
don't
yet
forget,
landed
yeah,
on
they
one.
did throw a lot of screen passes to Jeff Swain.
Foolishly, but yes, they did.
That's basically like throwing a screen pass to a tree.
Yeah. Yes. But do you take issue, by the way? Let's let that back up. Do you take issue with me having Gunnar Helm at 2 on the tight end depth chart here already? Some folks did online, but I don't know. Why not? And folks in the comments are saying Josh Wiley might be a cut candidate.
I just don't.
And I don't think he's getting cut. I disagree with the folks that think he's a cut candidate. But I do think that Gunnar Helm is likely to start the season as the tight end 2 and really tight end 1B because him and Chigakonkwo, I mean, Chig is playing the F. Yeah. Helm is going to play the Y.
I think Wiley is somebody to watch for sure. Because what does Josh Wiley do that Gunnar Helm won't be able to do come August?
Yeah. That's kind of my point. I think Helm is going to be, I think right now, I'd be curious to hear the coaching staff's opinion on this because I'm basing it off of like college tape versus year 2 NFL tape. It's kind of like apples and oranges. I think Helm is every bit the blocker that Wiley is already. And if not, he's real close. Like, I don't think that Wiley is any more than a quarter tier above Helm as a blocker. And I think Helm is already a better passing option. Like, I don't know.
He's a more reliable, pass option.
He's just got that. It's one of those things with tight ends. Like, do they just have that? Do they have that shimmy to them? Do they have that savvy to be able to, like, the Travis Kelce thing of like, do you know where to sit down in the zone? Do you know how to use your body?
Position,
right, you know? Right. Yeah. And Helm all over his tape, he has that feel. He is a natural. He is a quarterback's best friend type. He's a safety valve guy. And Wiley has shown he can be that. But he's more a guy you have to scheme up and it's like let's hit this guy on the seam route. Let's get a mismatch against a specific player. Like I don't, and maybe I'm just off on this, but my feeling is this is a heart take. Helm is a guy that creates, and Wiley's a guy that needs creating for. Like Wiley needs to be given the opportunity. Helm can make the opportunity.
I think that's correct. I think that's right. One thing that Gunnar Helms on his like pros list is a good scramble drill guy, which is that's just a feel for the situation, you know.
Well, with Cam Ward, you're going to get some scramble drills.
Yeah, and Wiley I think Wiley. Here's why I don't think Josh Wiley gets cut, because Chig's going into a contract year. Wiley's not, and Gunnar Helm's a rookie. And I don't think Chig's going to get a second contract here because I don't think they're going to want to pay him whatever that second contract's going to be worth.
Well, and if Helm turns out to be really good,
and Helm's good,
if he emerges as your one,
but it's also like you need multiple tight ends. And so if you cut Josh Wiley now and you don't bring back Chig next year, then you've got Gunnar Helm and Odukoya, who has not done anything, and DMR, who we all think, has upside, but who knows yet. I'm curious to see DMR because, like, when I go back and ask, like, what can Josh Wiley do that Gunnar Helm can't? And I know Gunnar Helm doesn't have concussion problems, and it's a real easy way to get knocked out for a month that you can't in a way that you have no control over. Is just by taking a hit the wrong way, and Josh Wiley's shelved for a month.
Yeah, you can't cut Wiley. I think this team's best, and also to be fair to Josh Wiley, you can't cut him because he's a valuable player. Let's not lose sight of the fact that Wiley he's not some bum. Like he's an NFL player. Yeah. Has he achieved as much as we would have hoped so far? No. Does he still have the potential to take another leap at a position tight end? We see guys break out late. Absolutely. And he's an athletic, big body, massive target guy. Like he's got the potential still. So I'm not writing him off by any means. That's the number one reason you don't cut him, is because you can still use him. But number two, to your point, I think that maybe in a perfect world, if the Titans could draw it up, they would have Chig have a nice year and move on from him, not because he's bad or doesn't deserve a new contract, but just because he has a year that demands a contract that somebody else decides to pay him. Great. Good job. Get your bag. Helm emerges as your true one, which you haven't really had since, Jonnu Smith, yes, but Delaney Walker for sure. Yeah. And so Helm's your clear one. You keep Wiley around, he takes a step, and then to replace Chig in that F role, which I think, and I want to ask him this verbatim, actually. I think in Callahan's ideal scheme, the Y tight end is the feature, not the F. And so if you have a guy like DMR emerge as a viable F that you can use as your move, but you use them more in a gadgety way than in a we need to rely on you as our receiving tight end and our blocking tight end at the same time guy kind of way, because Helm is that dude, then that's ideal. So like it would be a Helm DMR or somebody like DMR type in the F spot and Wiley room next year. But that's if everybody does the thing that we think that they can do. So that's big TBD. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think Josh Wiley gets cut. You need depth there. And the thing about tight ends is it takes time to develop at that position, more than most positions.
Mm-hmm.
It does take time, and I'm not ready to give up on that. So to answer the question, the veteran most likely to get cut is who?
Let's throw up some. Let's just go through you want to just go through them real quick and eyeball it and see who sticks out to us?
All right. We'll start here. Quarterbacks, tight ends, running backs. We kind of talked through.
I mean, none of these guys, man. None of these guys are getting cut. The running back room is the most open and shut case. Like, we're not going to talk about running backs at all.
They're going to get cut. Like, there are guys on the screen.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
What? They're keeping 14 quarterback tight ends and running backs? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think the running back room is
going to get cut.
Yeah, the running back room is something we're not going to talk about at all. I don't think from a roster, like who makes it, who doesn't. Like it's Pollard, Spears, and Mullings. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think the other guys stand a chance, to be honest with you.
Receivers, we kind of talked through that quite a bit. I think
maybe
Van Jefferson is the one to underline here, and James Prochet.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I think those are your two options. Who we got here? I'm kind of blind clicking on graphics here.
That's fine.
Inside linebackers and safeties. We're going at it. We skipped over the O-line. We talked about the O-line anyway. Like there's no it's just a survivor of the fittest, I guess.
Sure.
The O-line. So inside linebackers. There's barely any veterans in the inside linebackers. So
I was about to say listen. There's a guy on this list with an asterisk next to his name at the bottom. David, and I really need to figure out how to. I'm assuming it's Benda.
Yeah. I heard Timmy say it.
Okay, perfect. So David Benda, Texas linebacker. Number of draft analysts thought he was going to get drafted. Arguably should have been drafted based on some of the other linebackers that were drafted. He is somebody that I would keep your eye on. I know Mike Herndon has been beating this drum, Captain Texas over there, and he, homer that he is for Texas. He's right about this one. He's right that David Benda is a guy that could very well make this team. Could very well unseat Gray or Williams or Reese. Could very well be a steal in UDFA that breaks into the rotation and like plays meaningful snaps. Because he was that dude at Texas. He was a very good player, and I'd imagine he probably has some medical things that we don't know about. He also looks the part. He's athletic. I don't see why not. Like, there's not a thing on his public resume that makes it clear why he couldn't be that dude. So. Yeah. I think that Gray and Williams and Reese all need to earn their keep this summer. And none of them are guaranteed a spot. I mean, I think they're likely to get a spot, and I have them bolded for a reason. But maybe I should unbold them because, frankly, who knows?
Sometimes I laugh at things because, like, the Titans haven't played a football game in a long time.
Sometimes I laugh at things, too.
Yeah,
just to be clear.
The Titans haven't played a football in a long time. And Devin, who watches our show, I think 4 out of 5 days a week, conservatively, he's like, who the F is James Williams?
The Titans drafted him last year, Devin.
James Williams was the 7th round pick safety from Miami who they converted to linebacker. Like, that was a big conversation.
Well, actually, him and Cam wouldn't know each other, but him and Xavier will know each other.
That's right. Yeah. So James Williams, it's funny. It's like, who the heck is James Williams? Like, how quickly we just like have things enter and exit our brains.
He also like between those three guys had the best tape last year.
Yeah, I liked
He's
it
the guy that
a
looked
lot.
the best of the three. So
I like James Williams. Like, part of me wonders, like, do you just take it another step?
if he can, he's the guy in my
No,
opinion.
I'm talking about like he's freaking big. He's a big dude, and he's fast, he's explosive, and he's angry on the field, and he's aggressive. Like, could he be an edge?
Oh, okay. You can't go safety all the way to edge. I don't know. Let me remind myself of his measurables. Yeah, he's big,
huge,
but he's not. Okay, hang on.
And yes, you can.
I wonder if that's ever happened.
I know.
Become a successful edge.
I know of one.
Who?
Now, it didn't happen from college to. It happened from high school to college to pros.
Who?
Javon Curse.
He was a high school safety, huh? Wow. Yeah. So James Williams mock draftable like spider web chart is so funny because it has him listed as a safety still. And so his measurements are all like 99th percentile because he is huge for a safety.
Yeah, he's
6'4", 230.
I mean, he'd have to gain weight, but
he'd have to put some weight on. But I mean, he's got the wings. I mean, 80-inch wingspan, just shy of 34-inch arms. 4.65 40, which is fine for an edge player. 1.59 10-yard split is fine. Vertical jump is a little bit lacking, but like, so I mean, he's athletic.
It's like, but it's the mindset that he plays with. He's just not scared to throw his face in things. Like, and that's
true.
I'm kind of like, why not? You know
what? I'll pass that idea along. Give it a try. See what happens.
Okay.
What could go wrong? You need edge guys, so time to start.
Just let him. He could be a third down guy. You just let him just get after it. Just go crazy on the quarterback. See what happens. So, like, I'm not trying to predict that or say that shit. I'm just curious. I'm
Sure.
James Williams, edge curious.
Okay. Okay. Who else
cornerbacks. I mean, you can't afford to cut anybody.
No.
So I think the reality is the two veterans that are really at risk of being cut, that like there is nobody safe.
No. Well,
I mean, there are guys, but like
most people are not safe. There are very few safe guys.
Yes.
You better be
the safe
Cam Ward, Calvin Ridley, Chigakonkwo, one of the starting offensive linemen, Jeff Simmons. Like, you need to be one of those dudes or else.
Yeah. I mean, the turnover has been wild, which happens when you have 3 general managers in 3 seasons or 4 seasons.
I mean, a 53-man roster, I'd bet right now, how many positions do you think are like locked, 0% chance got to make the roster? 12? 15?
Ask one more time.
Of the 53 guys that will make the final roster, how many individual players are 0% chance they don't make the team?
So how many pure locks are there?
How many Ridleys and Jeff Simmons are there on this team? I mean, there's just no way.
2.
Which
you're talking about 100% locks?
Yeah, which 2?
The top 2.
I think it's 3. I think it's number 1, 3, and 4 on this list. I don't think Tyler Lockett's a lock.
Okay, that's fair. You've got so let's just say 3. Then you got 4. Cam
Ward.
I think Chig and Helm
6. Yeah,
those 3 running backs are so 9. Right?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Mullings, I think, is a lock, obviously, because I haven't bolted, but he's still a 6th round rookie. Like, he could, and he's also hurt right now.
Well, he's not hurt. He's rehabbing a core surgery.
Yeah, but he's not on the field. So, like, I'm just, 8.
So
make it 8.
8. O-line.
So starting 5.
Lloyd Cushenberry is
come on.
Also hurt.
Yes.
But like, I don't know, like that is something that's been so under discussed. But
I know,
he's not going
but
to get cut either.
so there's
He's
6
a
guys here.
PUP potential, right? So 6. So now we're up to 15 or 14.
14.
I'll go back to inside linebackers, safeties.
I think there's only one linebacker in the block, and there's 3 safeties.
So now we're at 18.
Yeah.
Where's my? Here we are.
There are 3 edge rushers. Those guys aren't getting cut
because they can't afford to.
They literally can't afford not. Yeah, they can't afford it.
So now we're at what?
21. So it's actually 21. More than I thought. Yeah, but still,
it's half, right?
Simmons and Sweat and Joseph Day. 24. So it's about half, and then 3 of these guys.
It's over half.
27.
Plus 3
specialists. 30. Okay. Well, that whole thing I just said. Never mind.
23 jobs are up for grabs.
Never mind. There are a lot of jobs, to be fair, but I was wrong about the number. Super wrong.
All right. Let's throw some shade. Why not? All right. Hey. Shade time. If you have shade, throw it in the chat. We are ready to bring on the shade. Let's do it. Shout out to Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon. Online. WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Shade.
Give us your shade.
Who's got shade? Easton, I know you've got shade. Do you want to start with some shade?
Sure. And we'll monitor your shade being thrown in the comments here. My shade today is the fact that yesterday I represented myself in a court of law. First time I've done that. It was low stakes. It was over the phone. It was a phone call court, which is a thing.
It's something you should be telling your employer. And should you have told your employer before this conversation?
It was a insurance claim appeal.
Okay.
So there's no criminal or civil liability here. No. This was me fighting the dirty insurance people in court. Basically, here's the way too long story condensed to just air my frustration.
Yeah.
My daughter was born on July 24th last year.
Uh-huh.
We filled out the necessary paperwork for her birth to be covered on the 25th, because that is when the person rep came by to give us the paperwork. We made sure ahead of the birth, during the birth, and after the birth. Hey, when do we need to fill this out? What's the deal? Reassured the whole time. Fill it out the day after. It's fine. Don't worry. Like, they'll backlog it. Cool. All right. Trust you guys. Yeah. Filled it out, filed it on the 25th. Found out much later in the fall that they had the date wrong. They think that the coverage starts on the 25th, not the 24th, even though she was born on the 24th. And we go through all the necessary channels to get that fixed. Got to get it fixed because somebody's got to pay the bill. And if you're not covered, the bill keeps getting sent to us. And it's like, oh, if you don't pay it now, we're going to send it to a collections agency. Well, we're trying not to pay it. We're trying to get the insurance to pay it. And then eventually the insurance company says, well, you'll actually have to file a formal appeal and go to court. Okay. So we do that. We filed that appeal January 9th. It was May 12th yesterday. So when we finally had that court date, it was over the phone. It was against an actual attorney representing the insurance company who had like a whole opening statement and called a witness and did all of these things. I was just shooting from the hip. I mean, I had planned what I was going to say and I had some documents, but like was just making it up. And I make for a decent BS lawyer, but it's BS, right? And so I fought it, and then because the insurance company is the way that it is, they can't tell you anything over the phone. They won't email you. They mail you things. You got to wait for the postal service. And so we have to wait in the mail for the decision from this judge as to whether or not they can fix the very demonstrable issue here. That is, my daughter was born on the 24th. I got a birth certificate and everything that can prove it. I got multiple witnesses that can prove it. Not only was she born on the 24th, she was born first thing on the 24th at 1 a.m. So she was alive for most of that day. And yet we may still get screwed because that's just the way that insurance goes. So
there's no way. There's no way you're going to get actually screwed by this.
Well,
it's going to get figured out.
There is a way technically, because we were strung along the whole time. We called when we noticed the date was wrong. They said, we'll fix it. I'll get my supervisor. And then we get and a couple days later. And this is all like waiting for emails, waiting for mail, waiting. And it strung out until, again, we didn't know for sure we had to file this appeal until January 9th. Technically, the insurance company's policy is that if you don't file that appeal within 40 days, then it's null and void. You're outside the window. So legally speaking, I think they have the right to screw us.
Let me throw a shade at this, because Devin says this is the most first world problem I've ever heard. It's not. No, it is not at all. Like, this is a insurance problem with a childbirth that is not first world whatsoever. That is most births.
There are healthcare, social security, like there are social programs to pay for everybody to have the point in a developed country is that there is not an undue burden on parents to have children, because if there was, then we would, like, the birth rate would drop off the face of the planet, because nobody would be able to afford having a baby, because it's expensive. Austin, you know this. It's expensive to have a baby.
Yeah,
the hospital wants a lot of money for it.
The United States of America problem.
It is what it is.
And look,
but
as Bork says,
potential future shade on when I get screwed and have to pay this big fat hospital bill because
no, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Like, it's gonna work its way out.
Right.
Other shades. Z Dean says shade at the NBA in Dallas. Yeah, I see a lot of people throwing shade at the draft lottery. Jay Mills as well.
Do we think it's rigged?
Yes,
gut check.
100%.
You not a bit. You believe that it's rigged?
No, yeah.
Yes. I kind of am. I mean, I'm anti tinfoil hat guy on this one.
The NBA has done this multiple, like the Knicks, Patrick Ewing, like you can go all the way back. That's like I'm talking about 40 years ago.
Derrick Rose.
Yes, there's so many examples.
LeBron staying home in Cleveland. Yeah, it's fair.
Give me a break. The Lakers they need Luka because LeBron's old. The Lakers need to be good. It's better for the NBA. Mavs, there's some sports gambling, kind of like poker chips, no pun intended, in this Mavs thing too, for a new arena being built. But I think this makes a ton of sense. It's set up.
I mean, I saw that it's also insane that a team that was one game away from making the playoffs is eligible for the first overall pick. Like, the lottery is just an outrageous program. And I saw somebody say that the Mavericks odds, because I guess they had like one ping pong ball in the thing, their odds to get the pick were lower than your odds of naming a playing card and then drawing it out of a deck.
Yeah, that's all right.
But it happened.
That's all right. Devin just doesn't understand. He's still claiming the most first world problem. Dude, insurance and birth. Like, dude, come on.
Devin definitely does not have a kid. We've established that.
Yeah. Where did my shade go? Somebody threw shade at me, and I was going to throw shade as well. And it was the fact that my Chrome browser crashed yesterday at the end of the show.
I heard.
Shade to Austin for rage quitting on Zach. Browser just went boof, and I was gone. And and then Zach ended the show hilariously. It was the perfect way to do that, because I was never to be seen again. And everybody was just like, okay, he was mad. He lost the Rock and Rando guy, who was Lachavius Simmons, that I got the last name correct for. But I did not rage quit. My Chrome browser crashed.
Were you in the middle of an argument? Is that why they think you rage quit? Okay.
Yeah, because we were just discussing something, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Well, unfortunately, that means Zach wins by default. You lost.
It was really funny because when I got back up, Zach and I were like laughing afterwards. Like, that couldn't have been funnier of how it played out. It was just so great. So great. Yes. Steven. Now, that is the first world problem. My Chrome browser crashed and my live stream was over. Oh my gosh. Like,
Steven's all over it. That is 100%.
Notes right there. You can take notes on your
my Twitch stream. It went down. Yeah.
That is first world problem. Not the insurance not screwing me over for my childbirth. Oh gosh. Okay. That's it for us today. We got to get rolling. But schedule's coming out soon, so keep your head on a swivel for all of the Titans schedule news, and we'll be here tomorrow to predict some of the things that we always predict before the schedule is released. We'll catch you guys later on. Make sure you hit that like button, like the show, subscribe to the channel, 5-star Google review. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Appreciate it.